Okay, so the reason I chose this track for Feedback Friday's track of the year is not because it was the best mixed or mastered or produced, or didn't have the coolest sounds I'd ever heard in it. It was simply because I listened to it once, and then after the stream I listened to it again, showed it to my wife because I enjoyed listening to it, play it in my car, I have it in my playlist. And it's simply because when I listen to it, it gives me a certain range of emotions that I want to keep feeling again and again. So I keep listening to it. And I think that's pretty much why anybody listens to any song. And so let's just talk about this track. First of all, I just want to say that this definitely isn't the best produced track that I've heard, out of all of the tracks this year. I think my biggest problem with the track is the drum choice that Sarvesh made, specifically the clap. I feel like the clap is kind of aggressive and like full of high end, and it doesn't really suit the track. But because the rest of it is so beautiful, I kind of forget about the drums after a while, and they're just there helping along with the rhythm. So it doesn't ruin the track, but I do definitely think could have made quite a big improvement just by choosing maybe a bit more gentle kind of hand clap, something a bit more organic and natural. And the kick is also, I seem to always have a problem with kicks, but I feel like the kick was also maybe a little bit too clicky. Maybe something a bit more gentle. I think overall the drums could have just been a bit more organic and full of like Foley and stuff, just to carry that emotion. So let me just talk about the emotion that this track creates. When the track starts, we've got these drums over here, and he kind of establishes almost like the chord progression with this gentle pad that he has in the background, and that already is setting the stage for the feeling of it, which is, I guess, I would describe this track as giving me like feelings of hope, feeling like everything's going to be okay, a bit of contentment. So listen to this little pad that he has in the background. So that first chord over there, that already gives you that feeling, that major feeling, that almost, I wouldn't say happy, because happy, I don't know, like nursery rhymes are happy songs. That doesn't give you like that nursery rhyme feel. It just gives you that like hopeful feeling. And then this main pluck synth comes in over here. Okay, and I really like the sound design on this pluck. It's like almost, the attack is a little bit longer, so it creates like this, almost like a whippy kind of pluck. And it's nice and warm, has a bit of noise in there, and it suits the melody really nicely. The melody is like really gentle and kind of creates this, again, it contributes to that like feeling of hope, and keeps on building on the emotions that you're already getting from the chord progression. So it complements the chords really nicely. Okay, and then we get into here. Not much has changed over here. It's just, we're hearing that pad again in the background, combined with the main melody, and we've got the kick in now, and the track's feeling nice and full. So I'm just going to skip forward here to this point, and this is where I feel the track takes a turn, and not really a turn, it kind of starts to reveal its full story. I think what Sarvesh did really well in this track is it tells a story. Like the synths, they feel like they're talking to you, and things are progressing, and they're telling a story, and it's a really nice story, a nice bedtime story. So over here, you can see I put a marker for back melody, and this is the melody that I think pretty much, is the star of the show. It kind of, when that comes in, that was when the first time I heard that, I was like, okay, I can tell I'm going to be coming back to this track and listening to it over and over again. And it's such a simple little cadence, but it really just, it gives me so much emotion combined with everything else. So this is the little melody I'm talking about. It's the one playing behind the main pluck. It goes dun 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 dun. And I guess that's maybe why he named the track Rise. I haven't asked him, but to me, that little cadence over there perfectly embodies the track name Rise, because it's like a rising melody. And again, like rise, I guess, has like feelings of connotation, like new beginnings, maybe changes in your life, good changes. And again, that's a good change in the track. It's the same pad we've been hearing, but now it's doing this kind of like rising melody. And it's such a simple sound too. It sounds to me just like a little saw wave with a filter on it. And maybe like a little bit of noise in it or something. But it's really, really effective, and it's super subtle too. And yeah, let's just keep listening. So coming up now is like a really nice pluck variation in the track. The main pluck that we've been hearing, the doo-doo, 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 that little pluck, even though it's like super nice, I think he understood that you can't just repeat that throughout the entire track. You've got to, at some point, start contributing a little bit more to the story with each element. And over here, he just adds a few notes to it and creates like a little run of notes, which it almost feels like, we're just starting to reach a new section in the story that specific synth is telling. So that little pluck over there. Okay, so it just keeps going on like that. Then we get to the breakdown. And then he's got these like little vocal atmospheres that come in, and again, they fit the vibe perfectly. They're like these warm, gentle female voices, and they're kind of just adding to the harmony of the track. And the breakdown feels really nice. It's basically just the same thing we've been hearing, but now the drums fade away and we get to really focus on all the harmonies and the melodies, and it's just like a really nice, gentle section. And, with the added little vocal sounds, it feels really good. Then he also starts to fade in this arp over here. Personally, I don't really like the arp. I mean, it doesn't ruin the breakdown, I don't think. I just don't feel like it added much to it. However, it does add some variation and an almost slightly different emotion to this section. And it makes you want, the old story to come back, which it does in the second drop. So while I don't really like it that much, it is kind of effective, I'd say. Now we're pretty much at the climax of the track. We've got the full ARP melody that we've been hearing. We've got the rising synth, the star of the show, in the background there, and and we've got the little vocal atmospheres and a nice full drum loop, with a shaker that's been added. So it's a really nice full section. But it's still at its core pretty much the same idea that he's been driving home throughout the entire track, and it keeps delivering those emotions to me over and over again, which is why I chose this track in the first place. Okay, so there's just a few improvements that I think, this is a Feedback Friday track, so I think, it's appropriate for me to talk about things that I would have changed and improved about this track, even though it has been released and you can't really go back and change them. Maybe he will, I don't know. Things I would have done differently, I've spoken about the drums, so I would have had like a more, thumpy, less high-endy kind of kick, just like a nice gentle bump, and an organic clap or maybe rim shot kind of sound, as a placeholder for the clap that we have now, which is just a bit too aggressive, and probably a lot more like Foley kind of percussion, and textures. So like crackles from like fires and stuff. Just like really warm, like organic percussion. And then those things aside, I think he should have made two mixes, an extended mix and a radio mix, and just made the radio mix be the original, because I just don't feel like this. It doesn't really need like a drummy kind of intro like this. I think it would have been a bit more effective as an intro if we had something similar to what the breakdown is. So just, like the pad and the pluck, just for maybe 30 seconds or something, and then we get straight to the point, and then no drum outro. So that's just how I would have done the radio mix. I would have kept everything else the same, and then you could have always just had the original be the radio mix, and then added an extended mix to the EP or whatever. Just like how you would see, I don't know, probably most labels do that now. I don't think this never happened, often does that. I don't recall seeing that, but like if you look at Colorize, if you look at like Enormous Tunes and stuff, they usually will have, for one release, a radio mix and an extended mix. And usually the radio mix has way more plays than the extended mix, just because it gets to the point quicker and people tend to relate more to radio mixes, which is, I guess, why they go on the radio. But yeah, otherwise, this track has been sitting in my liked tracks on Spotify, and I listen to it most days when I'm driving in my car, along with a bunch of other tracks. So yeah, well done to Sarvesh for producing a really nice theme and story in this track. So thanks for listening to my commentary, and please support the track if you enjoy it. I'll put a link where you can buy the track and support Sarvesh. Thanks again, and I will catch you in the next video.